Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I figured that today I would speak about my first luxury purchase that I made, and I made this last year in October for my birthday. I was in Paris, and so I went to Louis Vuitton store and I purchased the Speedy 25 Bandoulière and I purchased the Alma BB. So I figured today I'd speak about my experience with shopping for these bags in Paris, and then also I figured I'd speak about my experience with the bags and how I feel about them a few months later. So first, why did I decide that I would get Louis Vuitton? So essentially, when my husband and we went to Europe for my birthday trip, and we decided to go to Madrid, Spain, Rome, Italy, Florence, Tuscany, and then we ended it going to Paris, France. So by the time I got to Paris, I was like, what do I want to get from here as a souvenir? And so when I was doing a lot of research, people talked about, oh, you should buy like a luxury item and this is a good time to get it, especially considering the exchange rate at the time. The American dollar was less than the euro, so it made the purchase a lot cheaper, for one, and then for two, the VAT refund made it all very appealing, and I knew that I could get these bags cheaper while I was in Paris compared to while I was here. And I've always kind of figured if I was going to get a luxury purchase or a luxury bag, the first one would probably be a Louis Vuitton, because I find them to be the more affordable option in the luxury handbag sphere. So I was like, why not? While I'm here, let's do it, let's go. So the night before, I was doing a bunch of research, like which bag would I want to get, and then the following day I started making calls around Paris to see like which Louis Vuitton store had the bags. So the one I was really excited to get was the Louis Vuitton Speedy, and that was because growing up I was a huge Audrey Hepburn fan, and so I kind of already knew that this would be a good first bag for me because I was a fan of hers and she made this bag really popular, and it's just a very classic bag. The monogram, the Speedy, and then kind of just doing my research on the history of the bag. And the Speedy 25 was created in 1959. So before the Speedy, Louis Vuitton had the Keep All bag, which is the travel bag. And Audrey Hepburn loved that bag, and she wanted a smaller version of that she could use in her day-to-day life. Enter the Speedy. So the first Speedy was 30 centimeters, and then he made the Speedy 25, and that is the one that Audrey Hepburn really popularized, and she was like caught like walking around with it, and it was in this Louis Vuitton monogram print, so it's very much a classic. The Alma was the second bag created by Louis Vuitton after the Speedy. So then in 2011 is when the Speedy B was born, to add the strap. Really attracted to the Damier Ebene print. I think it's so beautiful. It's very classic. I feel like you see a lot of the monogram, but you don't see as much of this. So I was really drawn to it. And so I was like, okay, if they have, I really wasn't convinced I was going to get both. Once I did that, I was really kind of set on having maybe the Alma. And I would say because when I was calling around, the Alma BB and the DE print was the one that I was able to find, but I was not able to find the Speedy 25 in the monogram. And so I kind of in my mind was like, okay, I'm okay with just getting the Alma BB. It's beautiful. I'll get a lot of use out of it. But I'll tell you more about that when I tell you about my experience. So calling around the different stores in Paris, that day Louis and my husband, had gone to the Louvre, and so I'd started making my calls after we were finished, and the Champs-Élysées location was the one that had the Alma BB bag, so we decided to go over there. And so we left, finished the Louvre, we had lunch, we headed over there. The line was so long. It was ridiculous, and it was moving super slow. And I'll also add that that night we had a cruise that we were going on. It was a dinner cruise, like really bringing my birthday, because my birthday was on the 6th and we did this on the 7th. And I was like, oh my gosh, we are not going to make it. And there was a store assistant, and he was walking around talking to people, trying to see, oh, what bag are you interested in, and giving us kind of an idea of what the wait time would be. And he told me it would be an hour, and I just did not think we would really get there in an hour, because I was debating, should we leave because we need to get ready for this dinner cruise, or should we stay, try to like stick it out and see. And so ultimately I was like, we could maybe come back tomorrow, but then the next day we were going to Versailles, and so I knew that it was either today or like never. And so ultimately my husband was like, okay, you go back to the hotel and you get ready for the dinner cruise, and I will stand in line and I will wait for you, just bring my clothes with you on the way back and we'll be fine. And I was like, thank God. So I hop in the subway. I also called them before I hopped on the subway when we were standing in line. I also was calling because I was wondering if it was possible to just put the bag on hold, because I was worried that by the time we got to the front of the line, that the bag wouldn't be there. And they essentially, I talked to maybe 2 different people on the phone, and they told me that I should be fine because they had so many bags in stock there. And so they didn't really seem like they wanted to hold it for me. So I was like, okay, just really trustful that I should be able to get the bag. So he's in line. I hopped in the subway, went back to the hotel. I showered, did my makeup, got dressed, all that stuff. And I really thought that I would be able to make it back in time to get in. So I would say like the subway ride was like 30 minutes from the Louis Vuitton location back to our hotel. And so by the time I got there and got all dressed, I took like 30 minutes to do that. And then I was checking with Luis. He was still in line, but he seemed to be getting closer and closer. And then I had to take an Uber to go back because I had his clothes, and I just had too much to really get on the subway. And so traffic in Paris is so bad. It's ridiculous. It's worse than New York. And I was like waiting. It really ended up being like a 30-45 minute Uber ride. So by the time the Uber got there, he had already been in and gotten the bag. So I really missed the opportunity to go into a Louis Vuitton store, and I still haven't been into one, and I was kind of disappointed about it. But from what Louis told me, it was really not that interesting. He basically like went in, told him what he wanted. They brought it out to him, or like, are these the bags? And he was like, yeah. So then that brings me, so when I talked to the representatives on the phone, they said that there was no Speedy 25, but to have them, but when we go to the store, just check and see, because maybe they do have one in stock. And so I asked Luis when he went in there to make sure that he asked them about it, and he did. And apparently they had one in the back, and he was like, do you want both of them? And I said, because I told him, if they have both of them, get both. If they only have the Alma BB, that's fine. But if they have also this Speedy monogram, please get it. And so he got that, and I was so freaking excited. And I have like a picture of me like coming out with my bags, like, and also like the window of like Louis Vuitton store at that location is so beautiful. So yeah, so ultimately I got my bags. I did not get to go inside. And then also after talking to Luis, he was basically telling me as soon as I left, he realized he had to use the restroom, which is like the worst fear ever, because you can't leave the line. You're basically stuck there. And then when he went inside, he asked, after he made his purchase, he was like, oh, is there a restroom that I could use? And they didn't even have a restroom. And I told him, if you were a certain person, there would have been a restroom for you to use, which I thought was insane. Like, you go there, spend so much money, and they don't even have a restroom for you after you've been standing in line forever. But yeah, so he ultimately was standing in line for 3 hours, and we stood there together for maybe an hour. And then once the guy was talking to us in line, that was probably like 45 minutes in, he said, oh, it would probably be about an hour. But yeah, so between that time, I probably was gone for about 2 hours from taking the subway, going back to the hotel, getting dressed. So yeah, I missed the whole thing, but I was really grateful for my husband for being a trooper and standing in the line and getting my bags. So just to kind of talk about the VAT refund. So when you're an American and you go abroad and purchase certain items, you are able to receive a refund whenever you go to the airport, since you are not a citizen of, in this case, Europe. So I'd done research and I saw about that. So that was another thing that really made it appealing for me to get these luxury bags there. So I had told Louise, okay, when you go to the store, like, please ask them about it. And so she gave him a form and was told him, okay, when you go to the airport, just like go to whatever the station is, you scan it and you're good to go. So when I was doing my research, I did not see the part where you're supposed to do the VAT refund part first and then check in. So we get to the airport that morning, we go, we check in, and then he had the receipt and he had VAT refund sheet. So we then check in, and then when we go over to where you do your VAT refund, so he scans it and it basically said, I forgot the word that it was, but it was like unclaimed or something to that effect, and you had to go speak to a representative. And so when we're in line, there were 3 customs people, and I could see some people were being asked to show their goods, and then other people were not being asked. They were just being asked to see their receipt. And there is one lady, and I hate to say this, but she was a black woman, and she was the only person I really saw asking to see the goods. And when we saw that, I was like, oh my god, we are so screwed. And then there was like a sign that said, make sure you have your goods available and your receipt like upon like coming, because you might be asked for it. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then I was hoping, praying that we got one of the other persons, and we ended up, of course, getting the black lady. And so she was like, oh, do you have the goods? And we're like, no, we checked in, we didn't know, but we have the receipt. And she basically said that we couldn't get the refund because we have the goods. And so I was trying to make any plea possible. Like, she said, I was like, oh, well, maybe we just checked in, maybe we can go and get the bag back. Like, no, I couldn't get the bag back, but I was just trying to make some type of plea. And then she said, well, we're going to contest it. And I said, well, why would you contest it though? And she basically said she's going to contest it because we didn't have the goods. And I was so ticked off because, for one, I'm like, I can clearly see other people who are not having to show their goods. And then 2, I kind of feel like not asking folk or kinfolk. And in this case, she was being much harder than everyone else. But I learned and it was very hurtful because it was 300 and something euros. So like 300 and something dollars that I lost out on. But yeah, she definitely did contest it because when we got back to the States, like a few weeks later, like Louise had gotten the message about, oh, like our refund got denied. But yeah, so I would just say make sure that if you are buying a luxury good, that one, you're getting the VAT refund form from the retailer, and then 2, that you're going to get your VAT refund before you check in. So lesson learned, I now know, won't make that mistake again. And just really make sure that you also are leaving ample time for when you get to the airport so that you can go and get your VAT refund. So first, let's talk about the Speedy B. So the dimensions of this, it's 9.8 in length, 7.5 inches in height, and then 5.9 inches in the width. So what I really love about this bag is that it's very roomy, very spacious. I can fit a bunch of stuff in here. Because it's slouchy, it gives you a little more space to kind of just push it out, expand it, get some things in here. And I find that I really like this as my bag for running errands. If I'm going to the grocery store, where it's like things where I just kind of like throw random stuff in here. I think it's perfect. I guess the only thing I don't like as much about this bag is the fact that it's so slouchy. And when I first got this, it was kind of bent, but I kind of just like flipped it out. And another thing that kind of helps with this bag is you can purchase a bag organizer. So I bought one from Amazon that I can link down in the description box, and it just kind of helps you keep things kind of organized. I really honestly don't tend to carry that much in my bags, and that's why I tend to like smaller bags, because it kind of keeps me from just throwing a bunch of random stuff in here. So right now I went to HEB today, and I didn't have that much I needed to carry, so it's looking a little empty, but I like that. But I would imagine if you're a person who you have a lot of things you like to have in your bag with you, that this would be perfect and for you because you can fit so much. But for me, I don't really need as much space. I'm not carrying as much stuff around on the regular, so yeah. And then I love that the strap is adjustable. I haven't had to adjust it, but if I wanted to, like, it's nice to know that I could. And for this bag, the strap is 18.3 inches long, and it can go to like a max of 21.3 inches. And then to give you information about the Alma BB, so the length of this is 9.3 inches, the height is 6.9, and then the width is 4.5 inches. So what I love about this bag is that it's small. I love a good small bag. I don't have that much to pack, like I was saying, for the Speedy B, so this works for me. I also love a structured bag. Structured bags tend to be my favorite because I just feel like it just adds a sense of elegance, chicness when you have a bag like this, and it makes it seem more of like a bag that you can wear for night because it's so structured. And so that's what I use this for a lot. I will use this if I'm going out to lunch, brunch, dinner, somewhere where I'm like going out, versus the Speedy B. Like for me, it's like, oh, I'm going out and running an errand, but I won't necessarily take it out like for a dinner. So that's what I really enjoy about this. It also has a strap, but it is not adjustable, and then this strap is 22 inches. And also this bag has little feet at the bottom, which I love this feature because I love like a bag that has feet, because you can just sit it down and you're not worrying about it scratching at the bottom or anything like that. And so as you can see, I've had this bag for like 3 months and no issues. And I would say in the beginning when I first got these purses, I was using this one a lot more, but I have started using the Speedy quite a bit, and this one not as much because I've been wearing a lot more black, so I've been carrying different bags. But I did want to speak about why I chose the DE for this bag and the monogram for the Speedy. So essentially, I just think the DE is so pretty. I love the print, and sometimes like I'll see a DE and the Speedy and think, oh, maybe I should have gotten the Speedy and DE as well. But I really wanted to have the classic Louis Vuitton print for a bag, and I thought, what better bag than the Speedy 25, because that is the classic for that bag to have the Louis Vuitton monogram. And so I'm really happy I got this. And then I think for the Alma, because I figure that this is like a very like nice classy bag you can take out to dinner, I feel like the DE print is just perfect for this one, and I am so happy I got this in the DE. And then also I was speaking to a coworker of mine, and she mentioned the fact that you don't see as many replications of the DE. I personally haven't seen one. I don't know if they do those because I don't really pay attention to replicas and things like that, but I know back when I was growing up, it was very common for people to have LV print, and so I know that's one is more replicated than I would say the DE is. I did want to show how the bag looks on, so you can kind of see like the length and stuff. So for me, I'm 5'6", so for the Alma BB, it comes down like pretty, and let me stand back a little bit more. So the Alma BB, it comes down like pretty low for me. You can wear it like this, just on your shoulder, which is how I tend to wear it. You can wear it crossbody, and then it comes a little higher up, of course. And then also it has like this top handle, so you can wear it like this, which for me, I tend to either wear it like this or I wear it just on my shoulder. Because for me, it's just, I'm not I can wear a crossbody, but I'm more of just let it, so that I can easily just kind of take it off like that. And then for this BB, it comes like this for me. So it comes up a little higher than the Alma BB. And this is how I tend to wear this bag also. You could do crossbody, and then remember that this is adjustable, so there's that. I don't wear this crossbody either. I was at the store today and I was like, oh, I've never wear this crossbody. Let me try it. And I was like, no, I can't. I just prefer to just keep it like this. And then you can also remove the straps and you can just wear it like this. For me, I haven't worn this bag like this. I usually just wear it on the shoulder. Okay, another thing I wanted to show, because I know that a lot of people are really like, oh, what fits in the bag. So as you can see, I have it organized in here, and you can barely see anything in this bag because I don't have that much. So, have a pair of sunglasses. That goes nice in this bag. I have some gum. I have my wallet. I just carry a card holder because that's all I need. I don't really carry that much cash, and if I do have cash, I just like stick it in my purse. I have some hand lotion and lip gloss and some receipts. And you can see, like, I still have a lot of space. So this, of course, this bag is bigger, but you can still fit a whole bunch of stuff in here. So I wouldn't let that like deter you. If you have a bigger wallet or you carry like bigger items, then yeah, you may have some problems. And then also, I will go ahead and show you like the organizer and how it looks, in case you either A, already have a bag, or B, like you're thinking about getting it. So this is like the organizer. Looks like this. It's super basic. I think I paid like $10 for this, and then it has this bottom in there, and then it has this zipper card holder thing that you kind of just velcro down in here. And yeah, I haven't really super organized it or anything. According to this, I didn't really put anything in here. All I've done so far is just stick that crap and just drop it in here. I just like that I just like that I'm preventing the inside of my purse from getting dirty because it has this to settle on. Because I've had some nice purses and you just like throw all your stuff in there and then you realize, oh, now I have this stain. Oh, a pin popped open in my bag. So I'm trying to take like really good care of these purses. Who knows, I might want to pass it down to a little one of these days. So I just want them to keep looking good, and I want to take better care of them than I have a lot of my other purses. And then two, when I'm not using them, I store them in the dust bag, and I put them away in the box as well, just out of sight. Since I've been carrying this one like a lot more lately, this one has just been kind of sitting out and about. I haven't been putting it in a dust bag, which is probably bad, so I need to do that. But my Alma has been kind of sitting in its box in its dust bag because I haven't really been using that one lately. But yeah. Okay, now let's get into the prices. So for the Speedy B, that's $1,820. The Alma BB is $1,760. Then you just want like the regular Speedy without the strap, then that's $1,490. Okay, so now let's compare that to how much it was in Paris. So I'm looking at the receipt on my phone. I had to have my husband email it to me because I cannot find the paper receipt. But so the Alma BB was 1,300 euros. And this is including tax of 20%. And then the Speedy 25B was 1,350 euros, bringing the total to 2,650 euros, which is super cheap. And then, hold on, I'm looking at my computer because I did the math. So the conversion rate on October 7th, when the bags were purchased, was for €1 0.97336 USD. So that brought the total in US dollars to 2,580. So I saved so much money. If we add up the total for the 2 bags in USD in the US, I would have spent $3,580. So overall, I saved $1,000 by buying these bags in Paris. And I would say even with missing out on the VAT tax, because that would have been about an additional $300, it still was a steal. So I would say if you happen to be traveling already to Europe and you're in the market for a luxury bag, this is the perfect time to go, especially when the USD to EUR conversion is like this. So in closing, I would say that both bags are great. You cannot go wrong. I'm really hard pressed to pick one that I like more than the other, only because I use them for different purposes. Like I said, the Speedy B for me is a running errands bag, and the Alma BB is more of a going out bag, but can also be an errand bag for me. So if you have any questions about anything from like my experience with purchasing in Paris, or about the bags in general, just go ahead and leave a comment and I will get back to you. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. All right, thanks. Bye.